What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the prep series. So I'm officially done the BC Cup. I ended up placing second in the men's physique category and then placing third in the classic physique. I'm super happy with my placement. There's always going to be that subjectiveness of bodybuilding, of competing as a competitor. So I try not to overly stress about that. I do try to do my very best and try to place as well as I possibly can, but then there's a lot of variables that are out of my control in terms of who shows up on that day, the individual's genetics, the individual's work ethic. So there's a lot of different variables when it comes to placing at a show. So I try not to overly stress about that. But I think for this YouTube video, I just want to talk about how the show went, how the peaking went, just my overall experience at this show. And I'll just overlay some training footage for you guys as well. But yeah, overall was a really good experience. I think we peaked pretty well. I think I may have been just a touch flat. I don't know for sure until I get the actual stage photos back. But I think the reason I came in just a touch flat, I kind of talked about it on my YouTube video, but it was because I was thinking that we were going to be on stage about half an hour earlier than we were. So I was pumping up pretty much an hour before hopping on stage. So if you've never competed in a bodybuilding show before, you want to get a nice, good pump before you hop on stage, so that your muscles pop a bit more, that you have more blood into your muscle, more water in there, more vascularity, and you're just gonna look a lot better. Just like when you're working out at the gym, when you have a really good pump, you always look so much better with a pump rather than not having a pump. So we always want to have a really good pump. So I think I just started a little bit too early. There's quite a few different classic physique categories before me. And they're saying that classic physique competitors, you guys are gonna be on the stage really soon, so make sure you guys are starting to pump up. And I didn't really, I knew there was quite a few people in front of me, but I was thinking, oh, it'll probably be about half an hour. So I think I just flattened myself out a little bit. And then when I went into men's physique, I had to kind of rush off, get my shorts on, and get ready for men's physique category since I competed in both. And I think I came in even a little bit flatter for the second class, the men's physique class. So I'm definitely gonna have a look at the photos, send them to my coach, see how things went. But we did, during this peak week process, have to increase the carbs a little bit more because my body wasn't quite feeling out as much as we were expecting. So for this next time around, I probably will be having even more carbs leading into the show. But yeah, again, the night show had a really good pump. Started pumping up a little bit closer to being on stage. Had an extra meal on that day just to feel out a little bit more, as I did send my photos to my coach around like 2 o'clock, and he's like, yeah, you're looking a little bit flat still, so let's add in an extra meal, which I think had an extra like 80-90 grams of carbs. It was just like a meal with rice, ground turkey, and a little bit of vegetables. So through peak week, I pretty much had just the foods that I was consuming on a regular basis, still keeping in my vegetables, still keeping in my carb sources, my fat sources. The veggies are very important to keep that potassium in. In the past, I used to take vegetables completely out. But yeah, just because they can sometimes bloat people if there's excessive amounts of fiber. But since in a day-to-day diet for me, my fiber intake isn't excessively high. It's around like 30-ish grams. So it was totally fine. My carb sources were very low residue, so a lot of white bread, white rice. Most of my carb sources didn't have that much fiber, so the fiber that I was getting was pretty much coming just from the little bit of vegetables, which worked out really well. But yeah, so in terms of going into this next show, my coach and we discussed that I'm going to be digging a little bit this next week, or this next couple weeks. This week, I pretty much went back to the same protocol that I did the week before peak week, just to get my weight back down to where it roughly was at, because I did come up a little bit, just because last week Obviously, my calories were higher to feel out. It was more so almost like a diet break where my carbs and calories were roughly around maintenance or just above maintenance. So when I woke up on Sunday, I think I was like 176. Now I'm weighing in the morning around 173. So going into this next show, my weight's probably gonna dip under 170. So it's probably gonna be in the 160s, which is pretty crazy to see. I haven't been in the 160s for probably the past, I would say like 7 years or something since I've been that low in body weight. But again, we're trying to bring as much conditioning as possible because for me, my glutes still aren't quite crispy enough for the bodybuilding class to compete at the highest level. So I want to tighten up the glutes just a bit more. So this next week, instead of having just like the Thursday and Friday being quite rough, it's probably going to be the majority of the week that's going to be quite tough mentally, physically, even emotionally. So I'm excited to push to those extremes, but I know it's going to be a little bit more rough. Yeah, so that's the main things. The posing was pretty solid. There's a couple things with my back pose where I'm probably going to bring my elbows up a little bit more and back just to pop those rear delts just a little bit more. For the bodybuilding poses, I'll probably be changing them up a little bit more because I was doing more classic physique, so I was having a bit more flow with it. For the bodybuilding class, I may change up some of the poses for that. I actually ordered my posing suits a couple days ago, so that should be coming in, or my posing trunks. I'm excited to see how dialed in I can get for this next show. And then after this next show, I'll likely be doing a pro show. If I do get my pro card, or I may be doing the Kelowna show as well, but we'll be feeding up into that show rather than digging even more, because I don't think, for me mentally, I don't think I'll be able to dig much more after this next show. As for YouTube videos coming up, I'm not going to promise anything within these next couple of weeks. I'll see how I'm feeling mentally, physically, because I want to make sure I'm prioritizing all my clients first rather than the social media and like the YouTube content. I want to make sure that I'm giving them my all because I only have so much capacity when I am in that kind of digging phase. So I'm making sure that my clients are getting the most of me rather than the social media stuff. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, other than that, guys, I will see you guys all in probably the next like 3 to 4 weeks. We'll see. I'll definitely do a recap on that show. But yeah, other than that, guys, I hope you have an awesome week. Happy Easter, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.